Hi friend, won't you come through the garden gate? You're invited to join us for our gardening and old home show. I'm Laura, here's Dan, and this is our sweet Jackson. We're so glad you decided to come through the garden gate. On today's episode, I'll show you the things we worked on in our gardens this week and the challenges we had. We'll take a walk through my gardens to see what's in bloom, and we'll travel to one of the most beautiful gardens I've ever seen. Then we'll step into my library, and I'll show you which books are really inspiring me this week. That and so much more on episode 1 of Through the Garden Gate. We'd love to have you as one of our friends. Please subscribe.
Hi friends, it's so good to see you. I'm so glad that you decided to join us as we tell you this story and show you our progress on making our 1803 farmhouse and the 7 acres that we have here at Lilybrook into a tranquil and beautiful place. I hope that this brings you inspiration in your own life and in your own gardens and home. Guys, the first thing I'm doing today is planting up this incredible climbing rose. Isn't that so pretty? I can't wait to put this in my sunken garden, which is where I'm at right now. So the sunken garden is in fact sunken right into the ground. When we bought this house 5 years ago, it came with a very gross and very broken in-ground pool that would have cost us tens of thousands of dollars to fix. And so instead of doing that, we decided to take an old world approach and create a sunken garden, something that I had always dreamed about doing. You can see the honeysuckle is just about to bloom on this plant, and this brings in the hummingbirds like you wouldn't believe. We have lots of climbing roses here, and many of them are about to bloom for the first time this season. Originally, this was all climbing roses as well, but sadly, 3 of the bushes got rose rosette. And if they get rose rosette, there is no cure. They have to be pulled out, and then you have to wait several years before you plant roses there again because they can just get it again. So instead, in the meantime, we planted more honeysuckle, and some of them have opened. The smell down here is incredible. But now I'm actually thinking about taking these out, moving them over to the labyrinth or our walled garden and putting roses there once again. On this side, there's more climbing roses and of course the honeysuckle. And it looks like one of them have bloomed. Oh my gosh, guys, look at that. Oh, that is incredible. Look at the different color variations. I always struggle because I want to bring it into the house as a cut flower, but I can never manage to cut them because they're so beautiful out here in the garden. We have a very happy and healthy hydrangea over here. It's got its little blooms ready to go. We added a fire feature down here, some little fountains, and then this is my David Austin climber, and believe it or not, I have trimmed it this year, but it is massive. This has been here 2.5 years, I would say, and it has gotten so large. And look at these blooms, guys. It's just full of blooms, and it is just so beautiful. This is Hebe, and Hebe holds in her hand some of the water from the fountain of youth. So I just loved that and thought that would be perfect for down here. So today I'm going to be planting up this climbing rose here, and then I'm considering taking out this honeysuckle and moving it, because I'll tell you, the honeysuckle takes over. You guys can see that it has taken over. Eventually, I'd like all of this fencing to be filled in with green. So when you come down into the sunken garden, it swallows you up with green. And if I leave the honeysuckle here, it's doing a very good job of turning the walls all green very quickly. So if you guys are interested in getting the same type of rose I'm planting today, it is the True Gratitude Climbing, and this is one of the True Bloom roses. While I'm busy digging the hole for this new climbing rose, I want to show you guys some of the projects we've been working on this week in our gardens.
I got this stained glass window from an antique shop for so cheap. No one wanted this thing because it's big and they couldn't think of anything to do with it. But I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. So my plan was to hang this from my porch, and Dan was kind enough to get up on a ladder, even though he shattered his wrist falling from a ladder a couple of years ago. He was not afraid to go up this high on the ladder. Thank goodness, because I don't like heights. And we hung this from chains and anchored it to the bottom of the porch as well. I absolutely love how this turned out. I think it's such a unique piece, and I couldn't wait to start filling in plants and flowers along the bottom. So I brought in my favorite old basket and started bringing out things from the garage. I decided to fill the basket with some endless summer hydrangeas. I got a pink and a blue one that I popped right into the basket. I brought out a bunch of my garden decor and things that I've thrifted over the years, filled them with some beautiful plants, and it completely transformed my porch.
So guys, I've found my favorite spot to sit and relax this gardening season. You know, when I'm not busy doing projects or reading or or tending to the plants, I'll sit here and relax in this beautiful little shaded spot on my porch. I'm just really glad that we decided to hang the stained glass here. I think it looks so beautiful, and it's making me very happy that we were able to complete this project in one day, because so many of our projects are so big. It takes several days or several weeks to see them completed. And so it felt like such a win to have one project just done in a day, a place that we can come and just relax. It's become one of my favorite little garden spots this gardening season. So here are some of the beauties that I planted on the porch. I got these gorgeous orange begonias. I think they're probably my favorite, to be honest. It's not a color that I normally choose, but I just couldn't resist. I think that's so beautiful. And then here in the basket, the hydrangeas looking lovely. Up in this printed container, I have more begonia, coleuses. I really love adding lanterns to my decor, so I added that to the side. And then over here on the back side of the stained glass, I've got a pillar with another really pretty printed container. And I found these this year at a local shop, and I thought they were so neat. Aren't those neat? I just thought they added just a little bit of something extra. And then over here on the back side of my porch, I have this little sweet fountain and all of my hydrangeas, which have gotten massive. I love that though. I love they've done so well. And you can see here comes the blooms, guys. They're growing. So very exciting. And I just think this really creates an ambiance in this section of my garden. I'm so happy with it. Didn't rest for long on our new porch oasis because we had another part of our garden that seriously needed our attention. It was a disaster. And that is our potager, or our kitchen garden, where we grow all of our produce and some of our cut flowers. We were thinking that this was not going to take us more than a day or two, and we were so wrong. This was such a disaster that it ended up taking us days and days and days. And the rain that we got during the time frame of when we were fixing up this area was so heavy and for so many days that this project seemed to go on forever. I'm not gonna lie, it did seem like it was going on forever. I feel like there should be some really sad music playing in the background of this video right now. So there are some highlights about this garden. It is right out the door from my kitchen. And this moon gate, which was a Christmas present 2 Christmases ago, is filling in quite nicely with climbing roses. So that is definitely a nice feature. The greenhouse is a backdrop, definitely nice. I've got a nice water feature in the center. But what I wasn't aware of was how much this one, and also, wait, where's the other one? The little Boston Terrier. Oh wait, over there. How much she is got so much energy. But these two were gonna tear up the grass. Like, I know it also needs to be trimmed so badly. We got so much rain, and just in a few days it got really long and bad. So
we decided we're going to remove all of the grass. We're going to put down thick weed control fabric, and we're going to mulch everything. We also need to raise the beds up with some sort of barrier so the dogs can't get in and dig up all of my plants and produce. So we're thinking this isn't going to take that long, like 1 day, maybe 2 days tops. We had no idea what we had gotten ourselves into. We began spreading out all of the thick weed control fabric, nailing it all down, covering up this gross grass. And we're like, okay, we're doing good now. We started bringing in tractor load after tractor load of this mulch, and we also spent a tremendous amount of time weeding out everything that had grown up while we were actually putting the mulch down. And we're thinking like, okay, maybe this project's now going to take a week. And then the rain started. Dan was so determined to get this job done that he was out in the pouring rain trying to finish these raised beds and just get this project completed. And I thought it was so funny because one of the subscribers of this channel commented that Dan made her feel guilty because he was out working in the pouring rain. And I can relate. Dan and I have been married for many years, and he's always been this way. And I always joke with him that he's part machine, because he will just go and go and go. And I think it was because he was a Marine for so many years, but when he is determined to get the job done, he's going to. No rain is going to stop him.
So here is what we managed to complete in our potager this last week. We removed all of the grass and replaced it with the mulch, and we have heavy-duty weed control underneath that so that we won't have weeds in the walkways. We also built up all of the beds so the dogs can't get in. Weeded the beds, although the stone beds needed again. And I managed to get a few of the beds planted with cut flowers. I think this looks really nice, guys, and it's really functional. And the end of the bed actually opens, as you can see. There's a little door on there so that I can access the bed whenever I need to add compost, to weed, or to actually get in there at the plants when I'm ready to cut flowers or produce.
So that's what we accomplished at Lilybrook this week. And I just want to say, guys, that our gardens and our lives are not perfect. We're real people. We don't have a team of gardeners. We don't have a personal chef, although sometimes I wish I did. So our gardens aren't perfect. There's times that our gardens look like this. There's times when they have weeds, and that's okay. I want to encourage you to look for the beauty even in the imperfections. And now we're going to go travel to a beautiful garden. If you love garden tours, be sure to subscribe to my channel as I visit gardens quite often. Also, the full-length garden tour is available on my channel, and there's no talking on that video, so you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sounds of nature. Imagine you opened a door through a stone wall, and when you walked inside, there was the most incredible garden you've ever seen. No one was around, and the rain was gently falling. All you could hear was the gravel crunching under your feet, the birds singing, and the rain gently falling down. That's what I experienced this day in this garden. Everything about this garden is breathtaking. From the green growing up the stone walls to the hundreds and hundreds of blooms, especially the roses. It really takes me back to when I was a little girl, with my hands in the dirt, sitting next to my grandmother as she tended to her marigolds and her black-eyed Susans, her roses and her bleeding heart bush. Why not put a marble tub in the middle of your garden? I mean, it's your garden, and so I wouldn't mind bathing in this beautiful oasis, would you? I really love how this garden has utilized so many arches. It really draws the eye up and makes the garden seem very full. The house itself is incredible. All of the doors are so magical and amazing. I want to peek behind every single one and see where they lead to. How beautiful is this path that leads along the stone house, with the roses growing up overhead. It's a very narrow path, but it feels like it envelops you in green. And then it opens up to the large lawn. They have arbors up against the house where they're growing. And then check out how they've grown up all these beautiful plants up the sides of these gigantic stone walls. And throughout the garden, you'll see doorways that lead in and out of this stone wall into different parts of the garden. Some of the places it leads you to are manicured lawns, pools, and secret little garden oases. Even the garden gates are works of art. Around every corner was another surprise, like this amazing pool. It started to rain harder, but nothing could deter me from seeing all of the gardens. I headed out towards the edge of the forest and I found the most incredible surprise, this fairy tale cottage. They may have used this as a potting shed or a children's playhouse, but it is so sweet. It literally made me smile from ear to ear. Imagine having some books in here you could read while drinking a cup of tea as the rain poured down outside. How incredible would that be, to look out and see your gardens? I've got to think of a way to include something like this in my own garden space at Lilybrook.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed that exquisite garden. You know, every time I go to a new garden, I gain so much inspiration for my own spaces. I loved how they used all the arbors and trellises to bring your eye up and just make this green and flower oasis that just felt like it immersed you in this magical secret world. I love places like that. They bring me so much joy and peace. And when the world gets tough, going to a beautiful garden like that can be so healing, at least for me. So guys, I planted my new climbing rose and I wanted to talk to you about the compost I use. I get this from Amazon. It's called Great Big Roses. And if you couldn't tell by the rose behind me, my roses love this. So you just add some of it, you measure it out to into your watering can and then just water your roses all around. And trust me, your roses will be bigger and better than ever this gardening season. This week's book selection is Monet's Passion by Elizabeth Murray. This book is giving me serious inspiration in my gardens here at Lilybrook. It's so full of beautiful photography. Check this out, guys. I have not made it to this garden in France yet, but I hope to one day very soon. I like how they talked about what Monet's vision was for his amazing gardens and how they're growing and expanding this vision and keeping it alive. One thing I really appreciated about this book was they have these gorgeous watercolor drawings, and then they included these vellum sheets over the top that explain in all of the different plants that they included in that planting. And I just think that's really, really cool feature of this book. So if you haven't checked out this book yet, I encourage you to. If there's a old home or gardening book you're enjoying right now, please leave that in the comment section below because I'd love to check it out. Thank you so much for watching episode 1 of Through the Garden Gate. I'm so grateful that you guys are here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful weekend in your garden, and I'll see you next time. Bye.